Hey, it's Smeshdahl, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, and if you're new to this channel, welcome. My passion is trucks and SUVs. I do new trucks, I do old trucks, I do million-mile trucks like we have today. I'm in the Chicago Auto Show with my friend Brian Murphy, who just put 1 million miles in 2007 Nissan Frontier. Now, you may know the story. It's been all over the web. It's been covered many times. But I want to go a little more in depth with him, and so let's talk about the truck. So let's start with, first of all, we have a 2007 Nissan Frontier SE.
Correct.
Two-wheel drive. What's underneath the hood? Is it 2.7?
It's a four-cylinder.
The
2.5.
2.5 liter four-cylinder.
Correct.
And so I have many questions because there's a few things that stand out to me. Now, you were a delivery driver in Chicago, correct?
Correct.
So you would drive from your house to Chicago, then back from Chicago back out.
Well, and the whole Chicago area, not just the city. Yeah.
So let's start with 1 million miles. What's kind of percentage on city versus highway miles? Is it like maybe 90-10 or 80-20?
It's probably actually like 1/3 suburban driving, 1/3 interstate driving, and 1/3 city driving.
Really? So you have quite a few city miles on this truck.
I do.
Now, the other thing that stands out is you have a manual transmission on this truck.
Correct.
I have a 62, and I can tell you after a month, my left knee is like, no way, partner, we're done. But you put 1 million miles in a manual transmission.
Correct.
And then the other crazy part was you had 800,000 miles on the clutch.
On the original clutch.
All right, so wait a minute. So what's your secret here? You're probably not riding the clutch, right?
No, I would have to say responsible driving, not
Okay.
racing from one red light to the next.
Sure.
And just basically, I baby it. I admit, I baby it. I pay all my own expenses, so I want to, spread out the brake jobs and the tire replacement as far as I can. And,
sure.
And of course, I was always a gas mileage.
Right.
So
there's some video I'll put on the screen here and there, but you talked about getting 25, 26 miles per gallon in this, which is exceptional, which is better than EPA, so clearly you know how to drive with an egg under the gas pedal, as I've
yes,
heard, right?
Correct.
But let's talk about tires. Tires sometimes comes up in the conversation. So what kind of mileage were you getting out of your tires?
I had great luck with my tires. They were BF Goodrich Long Trail TA that came with the truck originally. Okay. And I've gotten up to 150 to 200,000. On a couple of the tires, I did get over 200,000.
Okay, guys, 150,000, 200,000, and more. Yes, it's possible. The other 1 million mile trucks have the same kind of deal on tires. If you take care of your vehicle, the tires do last.
They do.
It turns out if you don't burn rubber at the stop sign, there's more rubber on the tires, right?
Correct.
So let's talk about brakes and things. I mean, you weren't going through brakes that fast because you were kind of hypermiling to the stop signs, taking your time stopping.
Correct. Play the lights a little,
Right.
But I've had brakes last 150,000.
Okay, so you're getting some really good miles out of that.
Yep.
What about suspension parts? Did you change leaf springs? Did you change shocks at all? Anything come up?
The front end was rebuilt at 700,000.
Okay.
The struts and tie rod ends and ball joints and so forth. But
okay.
Aside from that, that's it with the suspension.
Now, the other question that I have, and I happen to have a two-wheel drive truck as well.
Okay.
Is you drove a two-wheel drive truck in Chicago in the winter.
Yes.
Now, that takes a little bit of a driving skill. Did you have sandbags in the back?
I did.
You put the sandbag, the tubes in, right?
Correct,
Because
yes.
you had to have those.
Yeah.
And then, do you have any problems with the two-wheel drive at all?
I don't ever remember being stuck.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
because usually that's a little sideways action. And
I tried to time it out to where I had my best tires on during the winter.
Sure. That totally makes
Buy
sense.
new ones in the fall, kind of thing. But,
Right.
I don't ever remember being stuck. There were a few times when I had to, rock it a little or, do something, but I never had to be towed out of a snowdrift or anything, let's say.
And let's talk about let's go from exterior to interior now. You went with a new driver's seat about halfway through, 500,000 miles or so.
Yeah, about 600,000.
Was it the tear in the bolster?
The material was wearing out. There was no real tears. It was just worn out, and the frame also was loose.
Yeah.
Just from I'm a big guy, so getting in and out of it several times a day, and just
sure. I have no idea what you're talking about. So that new seat, that'd feel really different when you got that installed.
It did. It did. And actually, it wasn't brand new. I got it from a junkyard. Used seats. So it's a little off color compared to the rest of the interior, but no one noticed but me.
But the interior looks pretty clean and cleaned up. You took really good care of that interior.
I did.
Yeah.
I'm in this truck, 12, 13, 14 hours a day, so I don't want it to be dirty. So
And you've had some long months. You said, I think one of the videos said like 10,000 miles in a month or so.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly when that was, but some months are busier than others, and just happened to catch some longer days in there.
That's crazy. Oh, I wanted to get one more thing in the interior. The exterior was, I was looking around, and I crawled underneath a little bit this morning, and there's a problem with this truck is that there's a lack of rust. And we're in Chicago. Like they salt the roads. Like it gets nasty.
They do.
And your frame looks like it's in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
And a little rust on wheel well, probably from scratching the paint or something.
Okay.
So how did you keep it so clean?
I just wash it like once a week. In the winter, I just run it through the car wash, and in the summer, I wash it myself quite a bit. But other than that, I do nothing.
And this is the original paint. And
it is mostly original paint. It has had a couple bumps and repairs, but for the most part, it is the original paint.
Okay, so it's an incredibly sharp-looking truck with that interior setup. So let's talk about the engine.
Okay.
So I know you had an alternator replaced at 450,000 miles.
And again at about 800.
800,000. Mm-hmm. You probably went through a few batteries, belts, and things.
Correct, yeah.
Was the maintenance done like the standard maintenance schedule? Did you follow that scheduled maintenance pretty closely?
Well, I stretched it out a little bit. I did oil changes at about 10,000. Okay. At 5,000 or 6,000, the oil was still clean. That I used the truck so much, so I did it at 10,000. And I changed the oil myself and filters and stuff. But if it needs repairs, I take it in. But
did you have any brand you loved about oil, or just buy whatever was on sale?
I use Mobil 1.
Mobil 1, there you go.
5W30.
I get asked
every time,
all the time. So you've had good luck with the Mobil 1 oil. You've done all stuff. I know the Milady. I'm hoping I said it right.
Melati.
Mm-hmm. I knew I was wrong. Melati, the dealership, took care of the major stuff.
Correct.
Does this? I'm sorry if I'm going to say this out loud, but timing chain or timing belt?
Timing chain.
Timing chain. So, and that was replaced at
700,000. Yeah.
But from the story I read and the things, it wasn't like it was a mandatory. It was like, hey, by the way, maybe you need to do this.
Right. Well, I needed a new belt tensioner, and so the mechanic was taking kind of the front part of the engine apart a little bit.
Sure.
So he goes, wouldn't be a bad idea. If you want to keep this thing going, change your timing chain. But it wasn't broken. I mean, the original one was still going at 700,000.
So, I mean, beyond that, though, beyond the what I call engine accessories being changed out, the maintenance items, you probably did the spark plugs, you did the filters, all that stuff yourself.
Well, I don't do the spark plugs myself. Because it's got the coil packs now, so I don't get into that.
But other than that, you had just basic maintenance done to it.
Correct.
Yeah, nothing crazy.
Correct. Yep, nothing crazy.
So then you flip over 1 million miles. You've been in the truck 12, 13 hours. But when you roll back a couple months, you're getting close.
Yeah.
So you're getting close, and I've had dealerships tell me this. The service writers get involved, and they kind of know where the mileage is. They're doing calculations. I mean, you had in your mind what day it kind of was in time, right?
Yes.
So you had built this up. So was it as magical as you thought it was going to be?
It was. It was fantastic. I had cameramen with me for like the last 50 miles, and we just watched it roll and got close, and then it just got the 999, 999, and stayed there.
Very cool.
But we reset the trip odometer with about 10 miles to go, and the trip odometer kept going for
so that way you knew
a little bit. So it officially has over 1 million.
Now, when you bought this new?
I bought it brand new.
Did you think you were going to get 1 million miles out of it?
I was hoping I would, and that's why I got the manual transmission. I thought it would hold up better than an automatic.
Sure.
And of course, the 4-cylinder, I have to get good economy. So
but your job's based on all the expenses. That's your profit margin.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was hoping. I didn't really, think there was a great chance that I would, but a chance.
Right.
And I'll be darned, here we are.
And then you retired this truck, right? And you have a new one.
I have a new one coming. I have to order it, and so I'm going to have a vehicle for in between for a couple months. So.
Sure. Very cool. Very cool. It's a cool story. It looks great. You took very good care of it. It's clearly a lot of ownership pride in this truck.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And when I'm not using it, it is at home in my garage. But it is out on the road all day, every day, 5 days a week. So it's not a garage queen by any stretch of the imagination.
It is a beast. Hey, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.
For more Pickup Truck Plus